a short demo of what the tool for measuring close passes can do for you. And please bear in mind these are early stages, but it should be quite helpful already. So what is the problem? Many times when you need to file some evidence about close pass, it's quite difficult for you and for the police officers or later for magistrates to establish what was actually the distance in between you and a passive vehicle. And it's not always because the force don't want to help you. Sometimes they are not trained, sometimes they are under massive strain and they don't have enough people to properly assess everything. So if you can, additionally to your evidence, prepare some guideline that can be reviewed, that can be helpful. That will save their time, that can save your time. And I was doing that so many times and I was seeing how others are trying to approach it. So being an engineer, I try to make something clever. And this is it. This is Close Pass app. It's free to use. And of course, you can accept cookies. You don't have to. If you want to play with that, you can choose to upload your image over here. It's uploading to your browser, so it's not uploaded yet anywhere. It's just in your browser. You can play with it. You can generate image and make a screenshot. And this way, you are not tracked. You are not recorded anywhere. Or you can later press on download image and you have to provide your email address and the image will be uploaded to my database so I can train later some models to make the tool even better and to calibrate all the cases. So let's have a play on some prepared images I hot linked over here, and I hope the forces wouldn't mind that this is from Twitter accounts of the forces which were training or communicating about close pass actions. The pictures weren't always perfect, but they are very good for calibration because you need to pay attention to the perspective and how it's skewing your image. I'll use the simple one in the beginning. So this isn't perfect illustration of close pass. Of course, this line over here, 75 centimeters to 1.5 meter, shouldn't be the center of a cycle. It should be the outer side of a cyclist, but let's use it. So what we are trying to do is to match this polygon with the geometry of a picture. So I'm using over here the car itself. You have wheels, you can put that over here. Then I have a line, end of this line, and then I'm trying to reflect more or less the same line. I can actually extend it. It will be a bit easier to make it more or less the same. And as you can see, even with distances over here, it is not perfect. There is a skew from the perspective. So when you be preparing, first thing you have to do is not to actually measure the distance to the other vehicle, but to find some other objects on your picture to establish proper settings. There are fixtures on the pictures usually that can be measured, and I will show you how, that can prove the perspective you're using or the measurements. So over here, that's where the perspective tool is for, because we already set that to 1.5 meter and 75 centimeters. And let's have a play. And if you can see, I'm not the camera expert, but this is quite similar to the factor which often is on the lenses. And this now represents the actual perspective used in a picture. And you can now download that, as I said, or you can just take a screenshot and it's ready for you to use. Let's use another one which seems much simpler, because this one, for difference, it has a few points reference, but also, what's worse, it seems to be looking straightforward and you expect no skew should happen to the perspective. So if I move things around, and I just realized it would be even better for me to just reload the page because my guys went outside. Tool is still in development. So what I want to do is I want to find, and actually I will remove, so you can merge everything. I remove everything. And what I'm looking over here is I want to establish proper colors in between curb and the line. And this way, you see, it's quite straight. So now I know, like, my polygon is reflecting the geometry of a situation. And the distance over here is actually 1.5 meter, 75 centimeter, and something for the curb. So I will split that at the moment, the right side, to our 1.5 meter and 75 centimeters. So please help me. It will be 2 meters 25. And I'll try to find this value. And I can actually play with this one. Oh, you can play with this one. Let's leave it at the moment because we'll be still playing with perspective. So now I will split my to be this is over here, and I'll put over here 1.5 meter, 175, and as you can see, it doesn't reflect the current situation. So if I were playing with this one, I would be changing the distance. So I want these values to stay. If I move this closer, it seems sensible, but still our 75% is off. So I have to play again with perspective and find a good balance in between these two values. And I think that was something about the art size. Yep. It's trial and error, unfortunately, at this point. That's why we need to upload images so we can work out the models that can calculate that on the fly, and to do that they will have to be able to find the lines where you are setting. So whenever you're setting that and uploading it to my system, I'll be feeding that and now it's more or less calibrated. You see the perspective value seems to be quite similar, so it seems like quite similar lens. The same like perspective factor is still established on your picture, and the values actually kind of make sense. So you expect that because of perspective, something further from the center will be slightly compressed. So now let's use my real case scenario and see how we can calculate how it's being used. So this is the case. I will merge everything because what I'm interested over here is the features of a street, and I use Google Maps for that because you can see these zigzags, and I checked this zigzag on this specific street. Sometimes it is around 4.5 meters. It really depends. In this area it is 4.6. In this area it is 4.2. Let's try it. Of course Google Maps have some skew, so let's do like 4.4 for everything. So that will be our 4.4, and let's try to represent that. Of course, better measurements you have, you can see the lens is doing something because I'm trying to follow these lines, and you see there is small fisheye effect over here. So I have that now. The second one, I'm still not interested actually in the position of a vehicle. I'm interested in this marking. So how many lines I can calculate to the second block? Second block, and it's 175. So I'll now split it and try to make it over here. And now I'm playing. Actually, I want that to be 175. 180. Okay, so now I need to play with perspective and see it's slightly different factor to match that. And now I have a correct perspective for the specific picture. This way I can split this distance and try to find the one which represents the axis to the vehicle. And for instance, you don't see me on this picture, but you can see the other cyclist. So I can split this one. I merged it. Split again. People make mistakes. So we want to... we need a new feature. We need ability to split A. That will go in the next version. But let's do it. That was... This is more or less his axis. This is our second one. This is more or less position of a car. Okay, So now you can see the actual distance between this driver and this cyclist on my left is actually proper one. It's above 1.5 meter. So if I'm in between them, that's a problem. So that already can be proven that the driver is far closer to me, because even like I will split this distance, it will be something like 93 centimeters. I hope this is useful. I'll be recording proper, more in the terrain case with more images. Have a play, and please feel free to send me any feedback. If you are from any force, any organization, also from outside of UK, that you find this could be useful for you, then please contact me. I'll wrap it as a desktop application that you can use offline, specifically for you. If you're a researcher that would like to just run through my calculations and just prove them and help me to improve that, you are more than welcome. Stay safe, play defensive, don't trust anyone on the road, but try to enjoy your ride. Take care.